Hey Scoopers, welcome back to Sheeran Scoop. The news cycle is absolutely on fire, and we've got the hottest updates you need to know. Get ready for some major revelations that are shaking things up across the board. We're diving deep into star power, unexpected box office bombs, and even a surprising take on acting talent. Plus, we've got a story that's going to make you rethink everything you thought you knew about a classic tale. You won't want to miss this, stick around, because the scoops are dropping now. First up, a blockbuster movie is making waves for reasons far beyond its plot, with a major star pointing fingers at the intense pressure to take political stances. Did this controversy sink the film? We've got the inside scoop. Then, we're going behind the scenes with a beloved actress who's opening up about her own perceived acting abilities. Is she her own harshest critic, or is there more to her candid response? We're also tracking a story that's got everyone talking. A massive film that underperformed, and the star at its center is breaking her silence on the reasons why, hinting at external forces at play. And finally, we're exploring a tale that's been completely reimagined, and the star involved is revealing her thoughts on why it didn't connect with audiences the way it was expected to. Don't go anywhere. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss a single update. Let's get into it. The pressure cooker: how politics impacted a blockbuster. This story is making headlines as a major star suggests external pressures played a role in a film's underperformance. Gal Gadot, the globally recognized star famed for her portrayal of Wonder Woman, has recently shared her perspective on the disappointing box office performance of Disney's live-action, Snow White. In a candid interview on the Israeli TV program, The A Talks, Gadot, who played the iconic evil queen, posited that the pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel significantly impacted the film's commercial reception. She stated that while she enjoyed the filming process and working with co-star Rachel Zegler, the geopolitical climate and the expectations placed on public figures to voice specific political opinions created an environment that ultimately hindered the movie's success. Gadot explained that what's happening in all kinds of industries, and also in Hollywood, is that there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel. She expressed her disappointment, noting, "I was disappointed that the movie was greatly affected by that and didn't do well at the box office." The film, with an estimated budget between $240 to $270 million, only managed to gross around $42.2 million in its opening weekend in the US, and an overall worldwide total that failed to recoup its substantial costs. This financial underperformance was compounded by mixed to negative critical reviews and an overwhelmingly negative audience reaction, reflected in a notably low score on IMDb. Gadot, who has a history of serving in the Israeli Defense Forces and has been vocal in her support for Israel, including signing an open letter in support of the nation amid the ongoing conflict, found herself at the center of a complex debate. The backlash extended beyond the film's performance, with Gadot facing criticism at events like the Oscars and her Walk of Fame ceremony, which saw protests from both pro-Israel and pro-Palestine groups. Her co-star, Rachel Zegler, also faced scrutiny, reportedly requiring Disney to hire a social media guru to manage her online presence due to her own pro-Palestine stance. Gadot believes that in the current climate, audiences often conflate a celebrity's personal politics with their professional work, and that the intense pressure to conform to certain political narratives can overshadow the artistic merit or commercial viability of a project. She concluded by emphasizing that while context can be provided, in the end, people decide for themselves. And she was disheartened that the film's fate seemed to be decided by factors outside of its creative execution. Online discussions and industry analysts are weighing in, with some agreeing that political polarization can indeed affect entertainment, while others argue that the film's creative choices and execution were the primary drivers of its failure. The situation highlights a broader trend of scrutinizing public figures for their political affiliations and statements, often linking them directly to their professional endeavors. But is the movie's fate solely tied to external pressures? Next, we're turning the spotlight inward as a star reflects on her own acting prowess. The actress's self-assessment: a candid response to talent questions. This interview, offers a rare glimpse into a star's personal evaluation of her own acting skills. Gal Gadot, the celebrated actress known for her powerful roles, recently sat down for an interview on the Israeli television program, The A Talks, where she was asked a surprisingly direct question. Do you think you are a good actress? Gadot, who has faced both critical acclaim and public scrutiny throughout her career, offered a refreshingly honest and nuanced response. Instead of a simple yes or no, she described her talents as okay and solid. She elaborated by acknowledging that, while there might be others with more innate talent, her greatest asset lies in her work ethic and determination. My biggest strength is that I am not afraid to work hard and that I never let anything stand in my way. I just go, 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 she stated, emphasizing her commitment to the craft. This introspection comes at a time when Snow White, a film she starred in, has experienced significant box office struggles, with Gadot herself attributing some of the film's difficulties to external political pressures. In the same interview, she also touched upon her experience working on Snow White, mentioning she enjoyed collaborating with co-star Rachel Zegler, despite media reports suggesting tension. She had been confident in the film's potential success prior to its release. However, her comments on her acting abilities have sparked considerable discussion among fans and critics alike. Some interpret her response as humility, recognizing that acting is subjective and that she remains grounded despite her global fame. Others see it as a strategic move, perhaps a way to manage expectations or to preemptively address criticism regarding her performances, particularly in light of the Snow White reception. The interview also delved into other aspects of her career, including her feelings about projects she disliked and her reaction to the film's commercial performance. Gadot's willingness to engage with such personal questions highlights a different side of celebrity, one that is open to self-reflection and public discourse about talent and the challenges of the entertainment industry. Her candidness invites viewers to consider the multifaceted nature of acting, where dedication and perseverance can be just as crucial as natural ability. Audience reactions online have been varied, with many commending her honesty and others debating whether her self-assessment is accurate given her prominent roles. This conversation also touches upon the broader industry conversation about what constitutes a good actor and how public perception can be influenced by a star's personal life and career choices. But the conversation doesn't stop at personal talent. We're now revisiting the film that's at the center of so much debate, as the star explains her take on its underperformance. Box Office Blues: Star blames political climate for film's fall. This report details a major star's controversial explanation for a film's commercial failure, pointing to external pressures. Gal Gadot, the acclaimed actress known for her role as Wonder Woman, has recently attributed the disappointing box office performance of Disney's live-action Snow White not to its artistic merits or creative execution, but to the intense political pressures faced by celebrities. In an interview with Israeli TV show The A Talks, Gadot, who portrayed the evil queen, expressed her belief that the current climate in Hollywood, which often compels public figures to take stances on global issues, significantly hampered the film's success. She stated, "What's happening in all kinds of industries, and also in Hollywood, is that there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel." Gadot, who has a history of service in the Israeli Defense Forces and has openly supported Israel, explained that this pressure created an environment where the film's reception was compromised, regardless of its content. "I was disappointed that the movie was greatly affected by that and didn't do well at the box office," she admitted. The film, which carried a hefty budget estimated between $240–270 million, had a lackluster opening weekend, earning approximately $42.2 million in the US and ultimately failing to recoup its production and marketing costs worldwide. This financial underperformance was met with a lukewarm critical reception and significant online backlash, including a very low rating on IMDb. Gadot's comments suggest a belief that audiences are increasingly polarizing and that political viewpoints can overshadow a film's entertainment value. She noted the difficulty in conveying context about global events, stating, "You can always explain and try to give people in the world a context about what's happening, but in the end, people decide for themselves." This perspective has ignited a fervent debate across social media and industry circles. Critics argue that Gadot is deflecting from the film's actual shortcomings, such as its storytelling, tone, and performances, suggesting that the movie itself was the primary reason for its failure. Conversely, supporters of Gadot argue that she is being unfairly targeted and that the political climate does indeed create an environment where artists can face repercussions for their perceived or actual political stances, regardless of their work. The situation underscores a broader trend where celebrity activism and personal politics are inextricably linked to their professional projects, creating a challenging landscape for public figures navigating global discourse. This narrative has sparked widespread discussion about the intersection of art, celebrity, and politics, with many weighing in on whether films should be judged independently of the actor's personal beliefs, or if public figures have a responsibility to use their platforms for social commentary. While the reasons for the film's performance are debated, we're now looking at how the star herself views her own acting abilities. Hollywood's political tightrope, Gadot on Snow White's flop. This breaking report reveals a star's candid explanation for a film's box office failure, linking it to political pressures. Gal Gadot, the internationally acclaimed actress, best known for her role as Wonder Woman, has recently broken her silence regarding the disappointing commercial performance of Disney's live-action, Snow White. In a candid interview featured on the Israeli television program, The A Talks, Gadot, who took on the role of the evil queen, articulated her perspective that the film's failure at the box office was significantly influenced by the pervasive pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel. She elaborated on the current climate within various industries, including Hollywood, where public figures often face intense expectations to voice opinions on geopolitical matters. Gadot stated, "What's happening in all kinds of industries, and also in Hollywood, is that there's a lot of pressure on celebrities to speak out against Israel." She expressed her personal disappointment, noting, "I was disappointed that the movie was greatly affected by that and didn't do well at the box office." Gadot, who has previously served in the Israeli Defense Forces and has been a vocal supporter of Israel, including signing an open letter advocating for hostages amid the ongoing conflict, believes that this external pressure created a challenging environment for the film. You can always explain and try to give people in the world context about what's happening and what the reality is here. But in the end, people decide for themselves, she remarked, suggesting that the narrative surrounding the film became entangled with broader political discourse. The film itself, with a substantial budget estimated between $240 to $270 million, experienced a weak opening weekend, grossing only about $42.2 million in the U.S., and ultimately failing to recover its considerable production and marketing expenses globally. This financial underperformance was accompanied by mixed critical reviews and a notable backlash from audiences, evidenced by a low score on IMDb. Gadot's comments have ignited a significant debate. Some critics argue that she is attempting to shift blame away from the film's perceived creative deficiencies, such as its pacing, character development, and overall execution, suggesting these were the true culprits behind its failure. Others have come to her defense, asserting that the intense scrutiny and political polarization prevalent today can indeed impact the reception of projects involving public figures, particularly when their personal backgrounds or statements are perceived to be at odds with popular sentiment. This situation brings to the forefront the increasingly blurred lines between art, entertainment, and political activism, where celebrities often find themselves navigating a complex landscape of public expectation and scrutiny. This discourse highlights the growing trend of audiences and critics alike scrutinizing public figures through a political lens, often intertwining personal stances with professional evaluations of their work. But the star's reflections go beyond just the film's reception. We also hear her candid thoughts on her own acting capabilities. On the scoop front, Gal Gadot weighs in on the Snow White box office, blaming political pressure. The star also shared her honest thoughts on her own acting talent. Plus, we've got more on how political climates are shaping Hollywood. Don't miss our next update. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to Sheeran Scoop, hit that notification bell, drop a comment below, and follow us on all our social channels for more breaking news and in-depth analysis. We'll see you in the next one.